What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Now, check this out. I got wind of Tony Bellew, who's on the WBC committee, and he's starting a Super Cruiserweight division. So the first two names that he pulled out the hat that he really talked about was Alexander Usyk and Deontay Wilder. I already saw another channel. I mean, I don't need to even go into who said what, because I really don't care personally. It's more the same thing. As soon as Wilder's name come up about anything, it's everybody making it to some damn conspiracy theory, which is like, yeah, all right, this is some clown shit. But already trying to twist it to a whole another narrative, like there's something behind it other than just wanting him to go to a cruiserweight division. It's actually the video that basically he's asked to move down, and watching the video, oh, right. So in other words, oh, it's because they're trying to avoid the third Fury fight. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, all that is this. Okay, I can never speak what another person's motive is as if I'm inside of his head to know. But what does Tony Bellew benefit from that? And as far as the WBC in general, well, you know, the things that I saw and heard, I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. But I'm not even going to get into that. Deontay Wilder is not a big heavyweight. He's tall. He's 6'7", so he could put on more weight than what he puts on, which everybody agrees that going up in weight is probably pretty much not the best thing for Deontay Wilder. Because truthfully, around, just say 215, 217, somewhere around that is like when he's looked his best. Alexander Usyk just came up to heavyweight, okay? He's done nothing in heavyweight yet. If you need some names, you need somebody who can go to the cruiserweight to spark some life in it, because the cruiserweight division, let's be realistic, the last two people that I actually remember by name from cruiserweights, if I can just picture in my head a fight, and I remember, was Marco Huck or Alexander Usyk. And the crazy thing about that was Roy Jones, when he moved to cruiserweight, at some point he was going to fight Marco Huck. If it was a fight, he lost the fight that he had. He lost. I mean, or the guy might have replaced Marco Huck, or something happened where that fight didn't happen. But Roy got beat, and this was, of course, Roy was way past his prime at this point anyway. But Roy got beat. So this is the most that I heard anybody even mention Marco Huck's name at that point, was when he was supposed to fight Roy. Since then, if you go back, you got to go to James Toney, Orlin Norris, you know, Vasily Jirov. You got to go back to those days. Like, the cruiserweight division was never a live division. So, who else right now? Who else right now that's in the cruiserweights that anybody talks about? You look at, you can go from channel to channel to channel, include my own, who talks about cruiserweights. So basically, you get these two guys, if you can if you can make this happen. Look, I was doing a video, and I decided to not do the video because it was some other stuff I wanted to talk about, and I'm like, nah, let me scrap this one. Look, case in point, there are no big names in the cruiserweight division. Why Deontay Wilder? Because Deontay Wilder could easily make that weight. Deontay Wilder is a very skinny guy, man. If I didn't know who he was, and I just saw him like, when Deontay don't even look 200 pounds to me. He's very skinny. Even fight night, he's cut up and stuff, but he's thin. From the waist down, man, he's extremely scrawny. So he has no legs and thighs whatsoever, man. No weight. He's light in the ass, as we call it. He's light in the ass. He has a wide back. So he could walk around with way more body weight than what he does. But as far as fight weight is concerned, it's not the best thing for him. So he would be able to make this Super Cruiserweight division. That's why. Now, do I think it's the best thing for Deontay physically? Probably not. And I know people are thinking, oh, but he could punch, so if he goes down, he'll knock them guys out easy. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It does not always happen that way. He could also lose power. He could make the weight, but is it the best thing for him? Think about it. That's like a cruiserweight coming up to heavyweights and people thinking that cruiserweight is not going to be strong enough that he knocks out the heavyweight. You understand? So we don't know. That's yet to be seen. But what I'm saying is that's the reason. All this conspiracy theory nonsense, it's just so crazy. It's like, the shit makes me laugh, man, because I sit there and I'm like, God damn, this is ridiculous. Anytime this man's name is mentioned, people got to make a video and try to make it something way more than what it actually is. Why Alexander Usyk? Because he's not really a heavyweight. He might walk around 200 pounds or a little over 200 or whatever, I don't know. But he's not, as far as fight weight is concerned, we've yet to see him do anything. But we know that he would be one that could make that weight. Plus, these guys have some recognition. So why not them two? Now, I don't personally think anybody wants to see Deontay Wilder go down and to a Super Cruiserweight division. The man got over 40 fights as a heavyweight. So, you know, I don't see that. It would be the opposite. I can see now maybe if Deontay wasn't a big puncher and people felt like, well, you know what, if he go down, he'll be fighting guys that's not so big to him. And, you know, like Chris Bird's situation. And we know what happened, right? Chris Bird went back down to light heavyweight after he fought heavyweight for some years. And he got destroyed. And that's what people was thinking, including Chris Bird. Like, you know, getting hit by these big guys and fighting these big guys. You get hit by light heavyweight, and it's like nothing. Nah. He got stretched. Dude destroyed Chris Bird. So that's what that was about. But all this other nonsense was like, all right, man, whatever. It's just like you don't even want to. I don't even want to get into all this other crap that people throwing out about the video, and y'all know who they are, usual suspects. But that's all that was about. As far as the Super Cruiserweight division, my thoughts was that, you know, with Tony Bellew being the guy at the helm of all that, he probably have people that's in the UK that's in that situation where I'm not a heavyweight, you know, but I'm also too big for light heavyweight. Cruiserweight is cool, but hey, fuck it. I could make that weight right there. I could fight it that way. You know, with this pandemic, people are not traveling like they you know, would like to, and then you got situations too where, you know, for people to somebody was saying, oh, they can get people to fly. Yeah, you might get to fly them out, but they might not be able to get back when they need to get back. Got to consider all of that as well. So this is why I'm saying Tony Bellew he's in the UK. So even with traveling, it's like, okay, well, if something happens over there, and first off, we don't even know how soon this thing would launch anyway. Like, you got to have a division. You can't just have a division and then it's not like, even if Wilder was to do it and Usyk was to do it, what's going to happen? They're going to fight each other and then they're the only two Super Cruiserweights? No. Do you get the Cruiserweights, some of them to move up? But if you already have no name, you know, it's not so much a name thing overall. It is and it isn't. Because it is in the sense that, well, if you get a division full of people that nobody knows, and then on top of that, if the fights are not really that exciting, then it's like, okay, what's the difference with this division and the cruiserweights? It's just the same thing. More unknown guys having so-so fights. But if you can get some names in there, yeah, that'll spark the interest. At the same time, the cruiserweight division, you can't just build a division, man, like and say, okay, this is the Super Cruiserweights, and all of a sudden expect to have a bunch of people tuning in to watch, a bunch of people coming out. When's the last time you heard about a cruiserweight main event in anything? I mean, you can look on all these fight cards, you don't see it. Now I'm thinking maybe like Anthony Yard might wind up being a Super Cruiserweight. Who knows? But that's what that was about. A lot of people so far, like, I mean, it's not even, you don't even hear all these different channels talking about it. I don't think people are really interested in it. I don't think they really find an interest, but at the same time, yeah, you do have people that have a certain situation with their weight where they're not really heavyweights, and it's more of an uphill battle for them with every fight because they're not true heavyweights. But then it's like, okay, they might have a hard time cutting weight to get to cruiser. So maybe it's like, okay, cool, this super cruiserweight division, pretty much that would be good for people like that as well. So that's all that was about. But all of this other stuff that I'm hearing about, and people was talking about, yo, you heard what happened? You know, about what? Wilder. You see they trying to do the Wilder? What they trying to do the Wilder? Nah, man, they trying to force him. They trying to force him to go to Super Cruiserweights because they're trying to avoid him and Fury having the third fight, yada, yada. And I'm like, now think about this, man. How fucking stupid would Deontay Wilder be to have a third fight with Fury on the rise, okay? If he wants to fight, right? Whatever money he's going to make in that fight, name a cruiserweight he's going to fight that he's going to make that same money. So Deontay is just going to abandon all his plans and decide, let me go to Super Cruiserweight. Then I'm thinking, if that happened, how does that help him? And what the hell could Deontay say to anybody about people doing him wrong or injustice? Because you be doing yourself a disservice. And even for Alexander Usyk, he has a clash with Derek Chisora. They made him mandatory when he moved up. So he's going to abandon that to go to a division and fight who? And defend it against who? They have nobody yet. So you turn down another big payday to go fight a no-name for much less money, because who in the hell is going to tune in to watch Deontay or Alexander Usyk fight somebody who we don't know? Who? So when I heard that news, I said, where'd you get that from? Nah, man, such and such, and I'm saying, yada, yada. I'm like, yeah. So I said, let me just tune in for a bit. And as soon as I started watching and listening, I'm like, yeah, here we go. The same thing. It's not even that, man. It is not even that. And there's some other things I saw. Oh, they put Devin Haney on blast for sending a fake contract with a blank check. There was no check sent to him, man. What? There was no check at all, and it wasn't even a contract. It was a term sheet. So this is what I mean about this news. How people, they hear something and twist it and put their own little twist on it. You know what? Imagine this. This is exactly what these other channels do. These people that I'm talking about particularly that do, this is exactly what they do. Imagine if I opened up a new restaurant, okay? Aries Steak Burgers and Fries, right? Somebody's interviewing me and say, so Aries, I look around and I see Burger King, I see Wendy's, you know, I see Arby's, you know, I see Chick-fil-A over here. Now, tell me, why steak burgers? What's going to be different? Now, let's say my response is something like, well, look around. Everything you just said, what's missing? You can't find a steak burger place here nowhere near this area. We're going to have so much more than that. But that's going to be our home run meal. That's going to be what attracts everybody. But we got so much more than that. And we're going to have a list where it's going to be digital. You'll be able to see our menu. We're going to have a drive-through. We're going to have, you know, and I'm just breaking down everything. And I'm expecting big business in this because we're the only restaurant that's designed the way it is. From our menu, building construction, what's added to it, and what we got going on, right? Now imagine somebody hear me say those exact words and then say, now Aries just opened up a steak burger joint and he's talking about, oh, he's the only place that's have steak burgers, yada, yada, yada. And I mean, where I live at, they got steak burgers. You know what I'm saying? If you go to such and such, they got steak burgers, yada, yada, yada. Now, Aries, this motherfucker, he's ripped up. He can fight. He box. He do all that MMA shit and all that shit. So why wouldn't he open up a gym? See, I think what it is, the reason he didn't open up a gym, he can't compete with them guys. And he's afraid that his business is... Now, wouldn't you be like, wait, where the fuck did that come from? No, I opened up a steak burger place because that's what I wanted to open up. This is what they do. They hear you say one thing and they completely flip it. No, there may be steak burger places where you live. I said around here, the location where I'm building my place. This is what they do. They flip what you say, and somehow, some way, people do the opposite of what I just said. They don't say, whoa, where that come? It's more like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, why would he? Yeah, somebody that box and do all that shit, and yeah, motherfucker fit, lifting all that. Yeah, why would he go open up a restaurant instead of a gym? This is what they do. And they start talking and adding on, and it's like if you sit there and listen to the interview, what did you hear me say? Versus what they actually tried to turn it into. So this is not a case of somebody misconstruing something I said. No, this is just somebody completely going off like they done lost their goddamn mind. And they're just talking, saying what they want to say. This is what these guys do. So when I heard, people coming to me asking me, I'm talking, fuck the internet, I mean in person. Yo, you heard what they doing to Wilder? First thing, I'm like, what are they doing to Wilder? Man, they trying to force him to go. Nobody's trying to force Wilder to do anything, man. And regardless to what this Super Cruiserweight division, who's going to be in it, this is not going to interfere. Nobody's trying to interfere with any fights coming up. And all Tony Bellew was saying was like, God, he was used as an example first off, that if he could get them to do it, yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be down with that. But what he's saying is, like Deontay, because Deontay could, he's not a big heavyweight. He really could go down to cruiserweight. Remember, Deontay himself was talking about going to cruiserweight to fight his own brother. So how was anybody trying to do something to him? Like, yeah, I'm like, what? But again, I watched the little of the video, and I'm like, yeah, all right. And I heard enough to know, like, yeah, that's exactly this is what I mean about people make up things and they say dumb stuff, and the people, they little minions, they don't question anything. They just, everything they say, yeah, that's what they doing, yeah, that shit ain't right, man, yeah. Nobody's trying to force Deontay or Usyk to do nothing. All he was saying, you have guys that's in that situation, that's all. They're not really heavyweights, and it's like, they don't have to cut so much weight. Whatever your best fight weight is what you would try to get down to anyway. But like I said, physically, Wilder's not a big dude, man. He's tall. So when you're tall and have a wide frame, you can put more weight on. He could walk around 230, 240, whatever, but he's skinny, man. He can get down to if he can get down to cruiserweight, then hell. Super cruiserweight is, that's closer to being an actual heavyweight. He could definitely do that. But again, I don't think people want to see Wilder go down to cruiserweight, super cruiserweight, whatever. I don't think nobody would want to see that. Now, if he chose to do that, it's like, it's different. It's always different. The heavyweights used to be the main attraction. But at the same time, I don't think nobody want to see that. But all that was, this wasn't even formalities, man. Nothing's actually been etched in stone. This is just a suggestion, like an idea of, so you may see Usyk go down there, you may see Wilder go down there, you might not. Looking at now, Wilder's 35? I don't think it would be wise for Wilder to go down. And two, especially what happens, you got to understand, one of the things you lose, like they say, the last thing to go is your power. But when your speed and reflexes are no longer there, I don't give a fuck. Wilder can go down, any of those guys they'll get stretched. They easily can happen to you because you fighting guys that's much faster than you are now. So even to have that power, don't get it twisted. When Chris Berg got knocked out, what you think? It was because he lost weight? No, either you got a chin or you don't. Not that Chris Berg so much didn't have a chin. The point was he was getting hit with flush shots, and that guy was way too fast for Chris Berg. So Chris Berg might have looked fast against those heavyweights, but coming back down to light heavy and going up against this guy, no, it was a different fight for him. And Chris Berg retired, and that was that. So that's all that was. Nobody trying to force Usyk. No, and it's funny. Nobody said the same thing about Usyk, though. They only said, oh, man, they're trying to force Wilder. No, nobody's trying to force Wilder to do nothing. Nobody's trying to force Usyk to do anything. The man was simply saying, as an example, these guys who are not really heavyweights and the super cruiserweight division would be a good division. And also, if that was to happen and they got some names, it could kind of revive the cruiserweight division, because cruiserweights and super cruiserweights will be, you have guys dropping down and you have guys dropping up. And Mauricio Suleiman, I'm pretty sure he's okay with that, because to be honest with you, for small heavyweights, it would give them the same ability to go down, to drop down to maybe, super cruiserweight, if anything. So then that, if they are building stars in that division and they get people, because nobody want to see you dropping back and forth just to fight guys who with no real credentials. You understand what I'm saying? So that's all that was. That's all that was. Which is why, if y'all remember, like videos ago, many videos ago, I said I don't really think much of what they're doing with this whole franchise championship. I don't really like that, but it gives, like, whoever the franchise champion is, it gives you the immunity to jump back and forth. You can go to whatever weight class you want. And as a heavyweight, well, how does that benefit a heavyweight? I mean, what, you just get the cherry pick? Because, I mean, how does that benefit a heavyweight? So now, and the thing is with this is only going to work for heavyweights that are small heavyweights. You think Anthony Joshua is going to go down, and he couldn't make that. He'd be so drained and so weak. This is why I'm saying, so at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I feel like, like I said, we don't know but that the thing, and let me say this before I close. Deontay could physically make that weight. Let me make this clear. He could make that weight. As long as it doesn't drain his power. As long as it doesn't take, out of him that power may not be the same. That happens to fighters a lot of times. They go up and down to a certain weight, and it's just not the same for them. So when you can punch, you can punch. But that doesn't mean that you can't get knocked out. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say on this video. Catch y'all on the next one.